What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Like, share, subscribe, comment, IG, TikTok, bottom of the video, and we just gonna hop right into it. So today we will be talking about the recent Tyler Perry lawsuit. Now, I think this is the first one or the first accusations against Tyler Perry that have been put in legal documentation. I mean, obviously, there's been references to Tyler Perry having behavior like this. First, obviously we have the Boondocks episode that he tried to get taken down. Second, we have some serious accusations where he was never named, but if you listen to the person talk, which the person is Christian Keys, and if you don't know who Christian Keys is he's an actor, light skinned actor. He's acted in a lot of Tyler Perry things, but the reason why Christian Keys is important because one, you obviously, like I said, he has a video with these accusations that I'll put in here. He doesn't name him, but I just want y'all to watch the video and see like who the fuck is he talking about.
Good evening. Hope everybody's doing amazing. Um, I am. I've been speaking to my brother about making a declaration of my experience. What I experienced with certain powers that be that were moving inappropriately. And I really, it's in my bone marrow to discuss that because thankfully God built me the way that he built me, but I'm not sure, based on this person's claims and brags, that he's literally got at the same time this person was sexually harassing me for years. He was claiming, that he had multiple young black men on the payroll, and they just had to show up when he requested them to be there. And clearly that's why it felt to him that it was okay to say these things. And I want to have these discussions. I want to be transparent with y'all about that. I've done my best to forgive this person, but it happens. It happens. It's not just women that have to deal with it, but it's also men sometimes. And it'll be men tempting men. And that's why a lot of my posts over the last few years have been about taking the scenic route, taking the long way around, because if that means that you can carry your integrity with you, then, and it's 11:11. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for another opportunity to connect with you. Please forgive my sins, my shortcomings, my bad decisions, and my mistakes. Please continue to guide and protect us as only you can. Everybody that's watching, it's not a presentation. If I see 11:11, I try to have another conversation with God. So thank you, Heavenly Father. I appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. In Jesus Christ's name we pray, amen. That's interesting. But there are people that will and have and will continue to, unfortunately, offer these things. And some of them are your heroes.
Christian Keys is also important because Christian Keys has a show. Tyler Perry has a show, All the Queens and Men, that is based off of Christian Keys' novel. So this would show a repeat pattern. Pattern is crazy. A repeat pattern of what we're finna talk about in this new lawsuit. So getting into this new lawsuit, The plaintiff in this new lawsuit is Derek Dixon. Now, you might be unfamiliar with Derek Dixon because I was too. Derek Dixon is an actor that he did put in not a movie, but one of his TV shows called The Oval. He's Dale on The Oval. So Derek Dixon was Dale on The Oval, if you are familiar with that. And basically, I'm just going to read the legal documentation because we got that. Shout out to Document Things on Twitter or X, my bad. And now, if you are new here, I'm not going to read the whole lawsuit word for word because what's the point of that? I'm just going to put in the important parts. And yeah, we're just going to hop right into it. So, beginning with the summary of action. This case arises from a sustained pattern of workplace sexual harassment, assault, and retaliation perpetrated by Tyler Perry, a powerful media mogul, against plaintiff Derek Dixon, a professional actor and screenwriter. Mr. Perry is an American actor, filmmaker, and playwright who has built one of the most successful careers in the film and television industry. Mr. Perry took his success and power, used his considerable influence in the entertainment industry to create a coercive, sexual, exploitive dynamic with Mr. Dixon. Initially promised him career advancements and creative opportunities, such as producing his pilot and casting him in the show, only to subject him to escalating sexual harassment, assault and battery, and a professional retaliation. When Mr. Dixon did not reciprocate Mr. Perry's unwanted advances, these events occurred while Mr. Dixon was employed as a series regular on the Tyler Perry show, The Oval. And while Mr. Perry held direct control over his employment and compensation and creative opportunities. So, obviously, y'all know that was just a summary of what all we finna talk about now. And this, obviously, I'll be reading most of the documentation, but it also includes text messages, so I'll put that in here. Now it's very it's not going. Obviously I'm gonna put the text messages. It's actually way more text messages than that. TMZ released it, so if you do want to see all the text messages, go to TMZ. But I ain't gonna lie, it's really like 30 screenshots or 35 screenshots that TMZ had released. So I don't think it's necessary to go through all of them because it's going to be kind of beating the same point in. So okay, first these niggas compared him to Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, damn fucking name, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, and Diddy, and Kevin Spacey, and Roger Ailes. These niggas, that is a crazy list to be compared to and be a part of. That's nuts. But getting into this, number 9, Mr. Perry sought the one thing his wealth and influence could not purchase: a sexual relationship with a man who would remain silent. Perry told Mr. Dixon that his ideal relationship would involve a male sexual partner who he could provide for and who would be loyal but emotionally detached. Perry told Dixon, whoever ends up with me is going to be a happy motherfucker. In essence, Mr. Perry desired a one-sided coercive dynamic with a subordinate and arrangement devoid of mutual consent or emotional don't worry about it. Thus began Perry's calculated pursuit of Mr. Dixon. Now, to begin with, obviously that is saying that Tyler Perry is gay. Now, I don't think Tyler Perry has ever came out or been openly gay. Actually, I feel like he's tried to be openly heterosexual, actually, but I've been telling niggas for years, besides the Boondock shit, that he gay. I don't even, and I'm gonna get on a little tangent right here just because. Fuck it, I'm here to entertain anyway. It's just, look at all these plays this nigga write, and then look at the kind of the niggas he cast. Why every nigga he cast? First of all, he got a type, but why every nigga he cast light skinned Carmel, tall and muscular than motherfucker? Like what? I know all these niggas don't act that motherfucking well now. God damn. I know, like, how he be finding these niggas. Like, this nigga be, that shit wild. You know how this nigga be recruiting. And y'all trying to tell me that man not gay. He scouting like niggas scout for bad bitches with these niggas. And y'all saying that nigga not, man, get the fuck out of here. Next. In one such exchange, Perry stated that he could fix things because of the actors of a show he was filming should all be scared because they were all shot at and we don't know who lives, meaning that Tyler Perry was going to use this as a tool to gain compliance with his desires. Shot at, not in real life, shot at on the show, because that sounded crazy. And you gotta we have to decipher that with the Diddy shit going on. But Derek Dixon was Mr. Perry's sexual desire ever since they became acquainted. Dixon was working as part of an event staff for a party hosted by Mr. Perry. When Perry noticed him, Perry immediately offered Dixon Auditioned for a part in one of his TV productions. Dixon agreed and was on set with Perry behind the camera for weeks in close quarters. During this time they were filming, Perry would send flirtatious messages to Dixon. For example, in one message, Perry stated that he was jealous when he saw Dixon going on a walk with another man named Brad. Showing his sexual orientation. I don't think I have to discuss that too furthermore. I think I have said enough. But I'll read text message for you and then explain why that's important. So, right here it says, this is Tyler. Tyler's the gray messages and Derek gets the blue messages. So, but I swear to you, I know how to fix this shit. I love killing a motherfucker in a show that no one's expects. Derek replies with, you could be sipping Montage cow and coconuts right now. Tyler, think about the last episode. They are all shot at. We don't know who lives. Derek, exactly. I'm scared. They should be too. Laughing emoji. Tyler Perry, nope, they're not. Last I checked, we all got the same bullets in us. So obviously, I don't know if Derek is caught on at this point or Derek was just trying to be like nice and try to, you know, how you don't want to talk to motherfucker for real, but like nigga, you have to. So you trying to make sure, you know, you trying to look, kind of kiss their ass a little bit. But obviously, Tyler is basically in a nice, he's going about a nice way, but he's basically threatening his job. If you don't give up that ass, nigga, I'm gonna kill you off the show. That's basically what he's saying. Well, I said it kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie. When you say it like that, that shit definitely sound crazy as hell. All right. And then the next screenshot is, why did that photo make me jealous? You two together. Derek, haha, I don't know. It's just Brad, LOL. Tyler, LOL. Derek, he just wanted to go for a quick walk to get his steps in, and now I'm walking to Chipotle by myself, LOL. Tyler Perry, thick Derek, get that Chipotle. Some shit just, you know, some shit just don't deserve a comment, you know? Yeah, some shit don't deserve a comment. So, 15. In another text message, Perry stated to Dixon, what is going to take for you to have guiltless sex? Have y'all found that in therapy? You can have freedom from religious guilt and still believe in Christ. Plaintiff carefully navigated a friendly demeanor to prevent the loss of income and opportunity on the one hand, and on the other, a foreign boundary against Perry's advances. Often when Mr. Perry started drinking, he would demand more attention from the plaintiff and get more aggressive with his flirting. On one occasion when Mr. Perry was drinking, he started to become extremely annoyed when Mr. Dixon avoided him. Mr. Perry stated that of the 600 people in his call book, he only wanted to talk to Mr. Dixon. Now I'm going to read the screenshots on this page. What is going for you to take for you to, this is Tyler, for have guiltless sex? Have y'all found that in therapy? Yes, it's the exact kind of car. They must have been talking about something else for that. Derek says, giving up my religious guilt, becoming a Buddhist. That's so cool. Where you came from? Tyler says, unfortunately, Derek, I have friends who are in their 50s and 60s who are still dealing with that, and it's so sad. You can have freedom from religious guilt and still believe in Christ. Nah, nigga, you just gay and don't want to admit it. That's the issue. The second screenshot. Treat myself right. What are you doing? Derek! I'm sorry. Just talking to my sister. Tyler, I roll. Fine. Good night. I'll go through the 600 people in my phone book and be annoyed that I don't want to talk to any of them. Derek, trying to get off so I can go to sleep. Tyler, I understand. LOL. Derek, LOL. Apparently you're not the only one that's been drinking tonight. Tyler Perry, I just started. Derek, they didn't. LOL. Next, starting with 18, Dixon did his best to tiptoe around Mr. Perry's sexual aggression while keeping on Mr. Perry's good side. Mr. Perry made it clear to Dixon that if Dixon annoyed Perry or failed to engage with sexual innuendos, Dixon's character would die in the next season. Indeed, Dixon's character Dale was shot 4 times in the chest at the end of season 1. On first season on the Oval, and Perry always held this over Mr. Dixon's head, implying that Dale would survive if Dixon kept Perry happy. Once Perry recognized the extent of his control he had over Mr. Dixon, he escalated this behavior. On multiple occasions, Mr. Perry sexually assaulted Mr. Dixon, including one instance where he forcibly pulled off Mr. Dixon's clothing, groped his buttocks, and attempted to force himself onto Dixon. Mr. Dixon told a drunken Perry no and attempted to remove Mr. Perry's hands, but Mr. Perry held tightly onto Dixon's wrist. Mr. Dixon was only able to escape after de-escalating the situation by abruptly changing the subject. The day after the assault, Mr. Perry called and texted Mr. Dixon relentless, saying, tried you, call me, and I really need to talk to you. Please call as soon as you can. Finally, when Mr. Dixon answered Tyler Perry's call, Mr. Perry profusely apologized for the sexual assault while blaming it on other things. Perry continued he didn't know why he would do that. Maybe he was self-sabotaging. On the very same call where he apologized for the sexual assault against Dixon, Perry told Dixon, "And don't worry, we're going to do your show," referring to the pilot that Perry knew Dixon had desperately wanted to produce. Shortly thereafter, Mr. Dixon got a call from Perry's lawyer saying that Christmas had come early and that Dixon was getting a substantial raise and the show was greenlit. Perry's attorney explicitly warned Dixon not to tell any other actor on the show about Dixon's raise because no actors were getting a raise, only Dixon. So first, obviously, this has, like I said in the beginning with Christian Keys, this has a striking similarity to Christian Keys, for the simple fact that Christian Keys, based on a novel about his show, he obviously does a lot of stuff behind the scenes and that of nature, and this is another one that, he was acting on your show at one point, and then, all of a sudden he gets his some type of show or producer or something else where he gets some, more of a bigger opportunity and, some more money probably to work with, or not to work with, says he's getting a raise, but it's patterns in this. So that's the only thing about some of these things. When at first, as a lawsuit, you want to be like, nah, we ain't believing it or something like that. But once you just get to paying attention, like this is a consistent behavior, it starts to look a lot worse. Now next, Perry kept telling Dixon that he was sorry and that the harassment would not happen again. However, the harassment and assaults continued. Mr. Perry will also try to deflect the blame for sexual assault by saying Dixon didn't have a strong enough no. That is crazy. That is super crazy. Perry told Dixon, "You have to be able to say no and mean it and make it clear. If you tell me no once, I won't even touch her." Dixon did not know how to answer without facing retaliation, cancellation of his production contract, or perhaps being killed off the show. So instead, Dixon made a joke out of the situation, stating that, "I only say yes to if he gets me an Oscar." In response, Tyler Perry stated, "The only one who could have gotten the Oscar for you through sex is in prison. So just stick to the no, unless you are really into him." I'm never mind. All right. Perry reveals through these text messages that the no he was referring to was Dixon's no to sex in exchange for promotion in the industry, classically known as quid pro quo sexual harassment. Perry sent this message to Dixon because this is exactly what what Tyler Perry was doing. At some point, Dixon left Atlanta and moved to Santa Monica to create distance from Tyler Perry. However, even at long distances, Mr. Perry continued to sexually harass Mr. Dixon. So, the screenshot on this, Tyler says, "Nice. Santa Monica is nice. I'm glad you're going out there. How is your no? Is it stronger? You gotta have a strong no." That is crazy. It's like he pep talking him to not get, R word. "Yes, it's strong. My mom literally thinks I'm going to sell my soul to the Illuminati. She heard Kanye say that it's real." Tyler, well, I don't think that, but I do think that you have to be able to say no and mean it and make it clear. Derek, "I only say yes if it gets me an Oscar. JK, JK, JK. I hear you." Why? I wouldn't even play with that man like that. Pause. Man, that nigga. He already. First of all, I get what position Derek is in, but that man already trying to get in your butt, and you making jokes like that. You tripping. You bugging. Well, the only one who could have gotten that for you, sex, is in prison. So just stick to the no, unless you are really into them with the tongue stick out emoji. Man, that nigga is tripping. So next. Obviously you got the different things throughout legal documentation. So it's saying that this is technically, obviously it's a civil suit and of that nature, but it'll be under California jurisdiction. So now starting with next to 54, Perry then told Dixon to do an audition over the phone to send it to Perry. Dixon told Perry he was at a Halloween party. Perry asked to see pictures of Dixon in costume, and Dixon complied. When Perry saw the pictures, he texted Dixon, "I was going to say your cowboy needs a sugar daddy." Perry continued with, "You look great. You're just lacking costume parts. Sorry, don't want to offend." Dixon responded, "Not at all. It's so true. Half-ass costume." To which Perry replied, "What's true? Cowboy need a sugar daddy?" Implying that Perry wanted to be Dixon's sugar daddy. Dixon just quickly shut down those comments by reiterating what he said earlier, that the truth was that he was lacking costume parts. Shortly thereafter, Dixon's boss at Legendary Events called Dixon and told him Tyler was having another event in Los Angeles and specifically wanted Mr. Dixon to fly from Atlanta to Los Angeles to work on the event. Excited for this opportunity to fly to Los Angeles, Dixon was flattered and jumped on the opportunity to meet Tyler Perry again. Okay. Shortly after, during that event, on November 3rd, 2019, defendant Perry sent plaintiff several text messages that he would love to find plaintiff a job and change plaintiff's life, insisted that they should make it happen. Perry said Dixon would turn to be out an ominous warning. Be careful hanging around me. I cause dreamers to dream big. I cause them not to only believe but do. Then let's make it happen. You're an artist. You have to be fulfilled. Wow. Great choice of words. Nothing else would suffice. The next day, defendant Perry sent an email which contained an offer for plaintiff to play the role of Dale in Perry's television series Ruthless. Perry said it was a small role that could get a lot bigger, thereby setting up the first stage in a series of escalating quad pro quo offers. At this point, Dixon did not know Perry was interested in men or that he was looking for a sexual relationship. Dixon assumed that Tyler Perry was generally a caring person who discovered the talent that Dixon always felt he had. Now I'm not gonna dig at Dixon his acting chops or whatever, but you know damn well that man was trying to get in your ass. Now yeah, he did. Okay, you did audition over the phone, so that yeah, but come on now, bruh. Like, nigga, you meet the nigga one day, now he talking about you will be fulfilled. That's some shit you'll say to some hoe. Not sexually harassing and all that, but I'm saying that's some dreams niggas sell to the hoes and you fell for it. Ain't no motherfucking way you ain't know that man wasn't trying to get in your ass, man. Oh, okay, so they're talking about a drunken night where Dixon fell asleep at Tyler Perry's house. So it said that Dixon was too inebriated. Scroll a little further. Before he knew what was happening, Dixon felt someone else slip into bed behind him and start rubbing Dixon's body around his inner thigh in a sexual, suggestive manner. Dixon turned around and saw that Tyler Perry was in bed with him. At this point, Dixon's stomach started to turn and he began feeling nauseous. Instinctively, Dixon jumped out of bed and told Tyler that he wasn't that sexual. Tyler Perry ignored the comments and told Dixon to turn around so Perry could see him naked in his underwear. Perry then commented on how beautiful Dixon's body was. Dixon once again told Perry he was not into sex. Dixon kept informing Perry that he was not into sex in order to keep Perry at bay, while at the same time not insulting the person who was dangling his career in front of him. In response to Dixon's frequent assertions that Dixon was not into sex, Perry started prying further. Perry would send Dixon a text message saying, "I would hope that you would let someone hold you and make love to you. You are missing the best years of your life, my friend. Trust me, I hope you get past that block in your mind soon." Perry was implying that Dixon would hopefully get past the block in his mind and will let Tyler Perry make love to him. After the assault in January, Dixon felt betrayed. Perry continued to call or text Dixon every day, asking to talk to him more. Dixon ignored Perry, which led Perry to text him, "Derek, why don't you text me more?" The more Dixon ignored Perry, the more aggressive Perry became, until finally Perry offered Dixon a part in a new show called The Oval. Dixon was intrigued and was hoping that this would be the big break that he was looking for, on a chance for him to display his acting talents. Now the screenshot on this page, Tyler, "I will hope that you will let someone hold you and make love to you. You are missing," obviously what I just said, "you are missing the best years of your life. Trust me, I hope you get past that block in your mind." Dixon replies with, "Well, it's not this person, but yes, I want that too. I'm working on it. Therapy is helping." Okay, so obviously right there, another thing of core origin, like he said, dangling his career in front of him, is another example of the quad pro Q or quo, whatever. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but obviously Tyler Perry is using his job, his power, and the influence to try to get in this man's ass. That's basically what he's doing. So 75. Once Dixon quit his job due to his role on the Oval, Perry started getting more and more personal with Dixon, knowing that Dixon was now under his control. Perry will often say things like, "I give and give and give, and no one ever does anything for me in return. No one ever gives me what I want or what I need," implying that Dixon was not giving him sex. Perry started asking Dixon about Dixon's sexual preferences and what role Dixon took on when engaging in sexual acts. Perry further indicated to Dixon that he had sex with men before and that he was a top. Perry further told Dixon that, I'm not reading that. My mama, I ain't reading that. I ain't reading that. Y'all can just read it when I put it in. I'm not reading that though. Perry further told plaintiff that he wanted a man who was in a relationship with another individual, but with whom he could be emotionally involved and engage in sexual acts with, like a friend with benefits relationship, because Perry did not have time to deal with the emotional aspect of a relationship, only the physical. Despite these comments, Dixon knew that a full-throated refusal would land him in the doghouse and might result in his role being cut on the Oval. Fearing that his career would end before it began, Dixon put up with these comments and continued to maintain that he was not the sexual type. On or around March of 2020, Dixon received a script for the Oval. He was written in as a season regular and was therefore expected to quit his job with Legendary Events. Dixon's character was written as gay, homeless, and a desperate store clerk who had to sleep with one of the other characters for a place to stay. More importantly, at the end of the season, his character would be shot 4 times in the chest. Dixon felt this way was a way for Perry to test Dixon out for a year and see if he would be loyal to Perry. Well, if you didn't get, well, yeah, obviously that's what he was doing. But if you didn't get any indication from the fact that he was gay and he had to sleep with somebody for a place to stay, i.e., you sleeping with Tyler Perry for your career, I don't think that was a hard math equation to put together. Me personally. Okay, so now down to 89, because we didn't kind of beat the whole in your career and your head point there. When Dixon arrived at the house, Tyler Perry gave Dixon a warm welcome and was very friendly. Soon after, Tyler Perry started asking Dixon a slew of sexually charged questions, even asking if Dixon liked it rough in bed. Yo. Perry then physically reached out and violently grabbed Dixon's throat, attempted to physically choke Dixon, and remarked, "Wow, look how excited you just got. You do like that." Dixon was horrified, shocked, and in a panic. Dixon never thought that Tyler Perry could get so violent and replace his hands on Dixon's throat in a sexually aggressive manner. Dixon did not enjoy or consent to any of this conduct. Dixon was in shock and took steps to immediately de-escalate the situation. So that's physical violence. I don't think I have to get too explaining with that one. Now fast forward. Dixon felt obligated to answer for the fear of losing his role, income, and career. Perry often asked about Dixon about his whereabouts and often demanding that Dixon respond immediately. When he didn't, Perry would send text message to Dixon stating, "Derek, grr, and what are you doing?" The girl got me. That's why I had to put that in there. I ain't gonna lie. Okay. In one conversation in or around April of 2020, Perry told Dixon, In one conversation in or around April of 2020, Perry told Dixon that Perry imagined Dixon prancing around in a cowboy outfit, and that Perry did things to Dixon that he couldn't talk with Dixon about any further because they were so wrong. In or around April of 2020, while Dixon was living in the studio homes on set, Perry often encouraged Dixon to drink alcohol and then get on the phone with Perry. Perry would frequently have someone drop off alcohol at Dixon's door. Perry would eventually turn these phone calls into a sexually explicit rants. Perry would get frustrated with Dixon and tell Dixon that he was not giving Perry what he needs. Dixon's refusal to succumb to Perry's sexual advances caused Perry to be ever more frustrated. Damn, nigga, how bad you wanted to act? That money must have been good. Shit. I ain't gonna lie. I nigga keep trying to get in my ass, G. I'm gonna have to call it, folks. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna have to call it. He would got his head pop fuck with me. I ain't gonna lie. Fast forward to 102. Perry upped the stakes by telling Dixon point blank that he was not to tell anyone about their friendship. Perry told Dixon that it should remain all a secret and tried to make it seem like this was secrets for Dixon's benefit. Perry continued to sexually harass Dixon. On June 27, 2020, defendant Perry texted Dixon that all he wanted for his birthday was biscuits and BJ's. In July of 2020, Perry remarked about how much he loved the script for Dixon's television series called Losing It, and exclaimed that he wanted to shoot the pilot for it. Perry would never really work towards that goal, and what Perry was doing was making Mr. Dixon more dependent on Perry. In July of 2020, Perry read the script of Dixon's pilot and told Dixon that he loved the show so much he wanted to shoot the pilot for it. Dixon did not know that Perry would never intend to shoot the show. Perry knew that he could use the motivation of shooting Mr. Dixon's show to get Dixon to do what Dixon had been resisting for many months, which was to give Perry the sexual gratification he so craved. Once the stage was set, Perry knew he could get away with sexual harassment. During the filming of The Oval in 2020, Perry engaged in a severe and persuasive tirade of sexual commentary, included but not limited to A, that Dixon liked being choked. following Dixon's being choked by a cast member in one scene on the Oval? That's crazy. B, why do you tish your hips when you walk? C, how can I get a day of Dixon? That's a double entendre. D, when will you be thick again? E, when will you be thick again to a man is crazy? Oh my God, this shit is nasty. Hey, yo, what the fuck? E, I love how I feel right now, but I don't like being horny. Okay. I feel sorry for the first person who flirts with me. Huh? I've been trying to put that energy somewhere else, but everything is sexual on this stuff. H, that snake across the table made me think of photo of Nicki Minaj from the music video for the song Anaconda, in which she references intercourse with male genitalia symbolized by a snake. I will gladly choke you, you right now. Okay, yeah, I think he just misspelled choke. A suggestion that Dixon should get braces behind his teeth, and that the planet would have to give up BJs, and that it could be dangerous for Dixon's partner, especially if they are not circumcised. K, that's when you were thick, Derek, fun Derek, drunk Derek, before COVID Derek. I miss him just without a butt. And L, thick Derek woulda worked them pants out. This nigga is crazy, bro. He gotta stop calling this man thick. That shit is blowing me. I'm not gonna lie. That shit is blowing me. Him calling this nigga thick, man. On or around June 4th, 2021, Perry invited Dixon to his home to spend some time together and discuss the pilot of Losing It. Although Dixon hesitated, he feared the consequences of disappointing Perry and believed once Losing It was a big show, he would be freed from under the clutches of Perry. During this visit, Perry made several alcoholic beverages for himself and demanded to know why Dixon was not having sex with anyone. Perry probed further about Dixon's sex life, insisted that the two were becoming increasingly drunk and it was time to end the night. Perry then led Dixon to a guest house where a guest bedroom was. Dixon would be staying there that night. Inside the guest bedroom, Perry motioned to Dixon to come see a weight monitor that he had. Perry told Dixon for the monitor to work. Dixon would need to step on the monitor wearing only his underwear and push Dixon to try it out. Dixon tried to avoid the uncomfortable situation, but decided it was better to comply and hurry to bed than to wait for the alternative at that point. After wearing himself, Dixon walked towards the guest bedroom, followed by Perry, who then asked Dixon for a good night hug. Rather than arguing, Dixon complied, at which point Perry reached out and yanked Dixon's underwear down from behind. Perry then began to vigorously grab, grope, and play with Dixon's buttock in a sexual manner. Dixon was naked, stunned, and seized by tremendous fear. Dixon started to tell him he did not want his underwear down, that Dixon didn't want to be naked, and that Dixon didn't want this. Dixon quickly reached to pull his underwear back up. As soon as he did, Perry grabbed Dixon's reaching arm with a tight grip and held fast. Tyler Perry told Dixon to relax and to just let it happen, and that he wasn't going to hurt Dixon, but you trying to get in the man's butt. Perry continued to sexually grope Dixon's buttocks. Dixon's anxiety rapidly escalated, thinking that he might be soon R-worded. Dixon was not sure what to do, and his breath shortened. Perry ignored Dixon's refusals and held Dixon's hand fast and prevented him from reaching for his underwear. Dixon was naked and being groped by a large, drunk, and sexually frustrated 6'5" man who had Dixon in his clutches. Dixon did not know if he was going to have to get into a physical fight, but he knew his efforts to fight back were helpless. Perry had armed security at his gate, which was much larger than Dixon, and told Dixon that he had several guns in his home. Now, damn, he on his ditty. Dixon was desperate for a way out and remarked that he couldn't do anything sexually because he was so hungry. Attempting to change the conversation, Dixon asked, "Is there any food up here?" which prompted Perry to withdraw and order a pizza. Dixon, in fear of safety, followed Perry into the main house to eat the pizza. Afterwards, Dixon returned to the guest house and, unable to lock the bedroom door, locked himself in the guest house bathroom and slept on the floor. Dixon then attempted to contact some close friends about the incident. The following morning, Dixon realized that he had left his car keys in the main house. Upon going to retrieve them, encountered Perry. Perry told Dixon that last night's incident is why the two shouldn't drink together and that the previous night incident shouldn't have happened. Dixon responded saying, "Oh, so that was my fault," to which Perry replied, No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it shouldn't have happened and I drank too much," attempting to excuse himself for grabbing Dixon's buttocks, groping Dixon, and attempting to have sex with Dixon against his will. At this point, Dixon left Perry's home uncontrollably shaking and contacted his close friends to discuss the unspeakable horror from the night before. Hear how he silenced him after them accusations. So, Soon after, Dixon received a call from a member of Perry's production team telling him that they were considering shooting Dixon's pilot in the coming fall of 2021. Dixon was so desperate for his good news given the uncertainty surrounding his finances and concern about his future. On or around March 4th, 2022, Dixon signed the literary purchase agreement for the pilot, giving the rights for the series to defendant TPS. Dixon was unaware of TPS's pre-existing television contracts with Viacom CBS, now known as Paramount Global, which would later prevent the sale of Dixon's show to any media outlets or streaming services for 2 years. On or around March 21st, 2022, shortly after seeing each other on the set of The Oval, Dixon and Perry began shooting the pilot. Perry called Dixon following the shoot, telling him that the show would net $2 to $3 million per episode and run for 2 seasons guaranteed. Perry purchased the rights to Losing It from Dixon, but did not try to sell it to any network. In fact, Perry was under contract with Viacom CBS, preventing him from selling Dixon's show for an additional 2 years following the purchase. In other words, Perry spent money shooting a pilot for a show and then purchasing the rights to it, knowing that Perry could not sell the show for 2 years. Clearly, this was done for an alternative motive of silencing Mr. Dixon. As it turns out, Perry had no intention of ever producing Losing It. Perry never made any effort to sell the show or shop it. Perry was the only one using the show as a quid pro quo to Dixon, holding in production over Dixon's head like the sword. That's a crazy comparison, but yeah, you got the gist right there. That was his way of silencing him. So, okay, so they do reference Christian Keys in the lawsuit. 180. In December 2023, Christian Keys, another actor who worked for Perry prior to Dixon's employment, posted a video on social media platforms detailing his abusive experience with his anonymous Black Hollywood billionaire, which Dixon pieced together and believes to be Tyler Perry. I already put this video in here, so y'all saw that. But basically, he was just relaying that he felt his account was a lot similar to Christian Keys, even though Christian Keys had got a little bit further and his show was actually successful and shot, but very similar. Like I said, repeat pattern. So that's really it. Without beating a dead horse, I kind of a lot of it is kind of repeating the same things of him just basically holding his career off his head for sexual advances. Like, so just read the cause of action and all they're accusing him of. First cause of action, quid pro quo sexual harassment. I already knew that. We done said that about 4 times already. Sexual cause of action, work environment harassment. Third cause of action, California Civil Code, sexual harassment in denied relationship, Ralph Act. Fourth cause of I'll put in with the Ralph Act right here just so you can understand what the fuck that means. Fourth cause of action, workplace gender violence in violation of California Civil Code. Fifth cause of action, violation of the Bain Act in violation of California Civil Code. Sixth case of action, Civil Code, sexual battery. Seventh case of action, sexual assault. Eighth case of action, negligent hiring, supervision of retention of employee. Ninth cause of action, intentional infliction of emotional distress. 10th cause of action, retaliation. So that's pretty much everything to that lawsuit. Just a quick rundown of what the hell is going on. Like I said, this I think is maybe the first one that's got put accusation against Tyler Perry that's got put to actual legal documentation. But like I said, obviously we've had the rumors with the Boondocks episode, but like I said, and it said in the lawsuit as well, Christian Keys also, it looks like he had accused him, but he never named him, but it seems like he's talking about Tyler Perry. Now we have a Derek Dixon who was there on the Oval and was supposed to get greenlit his own show just like Christian Keys, and obviously Tyler was giving him the runaround because one, Derek wasn't trying to give him no butt, and two, maybe he didn't think the show was hard, but anyway. But that do make me wonder. I mean, I guess Christian shit, maybe he just like, damn, this is a fire show. I got to get behind this. But, like, that do make me wonder, what the hell did Christian Keys do for it? You know what? That's not important. But at the end of the day, we understand that Tyler Perry is looking like a freaky-ass nigga. I think, obviously I felt like the world felt like this already, but at least I did, that he is a homosexual man, that it looks like he's trying to hide that from the world. But at this point, it's no point because... why at this point he got too much money, too much power. Who's gonna do something, Tyler Perry? Like, let's be for real. But yeah, bro, he a freaky ass nigga, 69 God. But that's all I gotta say though. Like, share, subscribe, comment. I just hit that bottom of the video and we out.